Most people know the legend of the Trojan War and the famous wooden horse, but few realize the true scale of the conflict. The war dragged on for 10 relentless years, a decade of hardship on foreign soil for a single city. This was not a war of constant battles, but a grueling siege. Disease, hunger, and homesickness haunted the camps. 1,000 ships crossed the Aegean, requiring immense coordination and resources. The Greeks' patience, or stubbornness, became a defining feature of the war. The war's length and intensity are what make it legendary. The Trojan War stands as a testament to the extremes of human persistence. The Trojan War's origins are as dramatic as the war itself, beginning not in battle, but at a wedding. The sea nymph Thetis married Peleus, and all the gods were invited, except Eris, goddess of discord. Offended, Eris crashed the party with a golden apple inscribed, "For the fairest." Instantly, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite claimed it, sparking a divine rivalry. Zeus, wisely avoiding the fallout, appointed Paris, a Trojan prince, to judge. Each goddess offered Paris a bribe. Hera promised power, Athena wisdom and victory, Aphrodite the love of the world's most beautiful woman. Paris chose Aphrodite, earning her favor, and the enmity of Hera and Athena. The most beautiful woman was Helen, already married to Menelaus, king of Sparta. With Aphrodite's help, Paris seduced Helen and took her to Troy. Menelaus, furious at the insult, called upon his brother Agamemnon and all the Greek kings to retrieve his wife. The abduction of Helen became the spark for war. But beneath the surface, the seeds of conflict were sown by pride, jealousy, and divine meddling. The gods' quarrel set mortals on a path to destruction. Paris's choice doomed his city to a decade of bloodshed. The war's true origins lay in a single, fateful decision at a wedding feast. The golden apple's promise of beauty unleashed a storm of violence. The stage was set for one of history's greatest conflicts, all because of a wedding crasher and a simple, dangerous gift. Helen's abduction was the official cause, but Troy's true value ran deeper. Troy controlled the entrance to the Hellespont, a vital trade route between the Aegean and Black Seas. Whoever held Troy controlled the flow of goods, wealth, and power between East and West. The city grew rich by taxing passing ships, making it a tempting target for ambitious Greek kingdoms. Conquering Troy meant seizing its wealth and opening new trade routes. The Greeks saw an opportunity to eliminate a powerful rival and enrich themselves. War in the ancient world was as much about profit as honor. The promise of plunder and dominance drew thousands to the cause. Troy's legendary riches and strategic position made it the ultimate prize. The war was fueled by greed, ambition, and the lure of glory. Helen was the spark, but power and wealth were the true motives. The Greeks were willing to pay any price to claim Troy. For 10 years, Troy's defenses held firm against every Greek assault. The city's massive, sloping walls, said to be built by gods, were legendary for their strength. Towers and fortified gates made direct attacks futile. Built on a hill, Troy's defenders had the high ground and could spot threats from afar. The city was prepared for siege, with its own water sources and vast food stores. The Greeks couldn't starve them out or breach the walls. Every attempt, battering rams, ladders, brute force, failed. The Trojans waited safely behind their fortress, hoping the Greeks would give up. The Greeks realized that strength alone wouldn't win the war. Troy's walls became a symbol of resilience and frustration. The siege dragged on, and the Greeks grew desperate for a new strategy. To conquer Troy, they would need cunning, not just courage. The Trojan War was defined by its heroes, none greater than Achilles and Hector. Achilles, nearly invulnerable and unmatched in battle, was the Greeks' fiercest warrior. Hector, noble and devoted, was Troy's greatest defender and the heart of its resistance. Their rivalry became the war's emotional core. Achilles withdrew from battle after a dispute, crippling Greek morale. Hector led the Trojans to the brink of victory. When Hector killed Achilles' friend Patroclus, Achilles returned, driven by vengeance. Their final duel outside Troy's walls was legendary. Achilles triumphed, sealing Hector's fate. Hector's death shattered Trojan hope. The war's outcome was now inevitable. Achilles embodied rage and glory. Hector, duty and sacrifice. Their clash was the war's turning point. The fate of Troy was decided by the courage and flaws of its greatest champions. The epic poems celebrate heroes, but the war's reality was harsh for ordinary people. Greek soldiers endured years in crowded, filthy camps. Disease, hunger, and fear were constant companions. Battles were brutal, and medical care primitive. Wounds often meant death. Most soldiers fought for survival, not glory. Inside Troy, citizens lived under siege, safe from battle, but trapped and anxious. The Greek army's presence was a daily reminder of danger. Resources dwindled as the years dragged on. Food was rationed and trade collapsed. Families watched loved ones go to war, fearing they'd never return. The psychological toll was immense. Hope faded, replaced by despair. Both sides suffered. Greeks longed for home, Trojans for peace. The war consumed lives, dreams, and futures. The true cost was borne by those far from the legends. The Trojan War was not just a tale of kings, but a tragedy for thousands. Ordinary people paid the highest price. Their suffering is the war's silent legacy. After a decade of failure, the Greeks turned to cunning. Odysseus devised the plan. A giant wooden horse, hollowed out to hide Greek warriors. The Greeks pretended to abandon the siege, leaving the horse as an offering. The Trojans, believing the war was over, brought the horse inside their city as a trophy. Only a few, like the priest Laocoon, warned against it, but their voices were silenced. That night, as Troy celebrated, Greek soldiers emerged from the horse. They opened the gates for the returning Greek army, which had hidden nearby. The city, caught off guard, was overrun. The sack of Troy began in chaos and terror. The Greeks' deception succeeded where force had failed. Troy's legendary walls were finally breached, not by strength, but by trickery. The war ended in a single devastating night. The Trojan horse became a symbol of cunning and betrayal. The city's fall was swift and total. The Greeks claimed victory, but at a terrible cost. Troy's destruction was complete. The war's end was as dramatic as its beginning. The legend of the Trojan horse endures as history's greatest ruse. For centuries, Troy was thought to be pure myth, a story spun by Homer. That changed in the 19th century, when Heinrich Schliemann excavated a mound in modern Turkey. He uncovered the ruins of a fortified city at Hizarlik, matching Homer's descriptions. Multiple layers revealed a city destroyed by war around 1200 BCE. Archaeological evidence, burned buildings, arrowheads, skeletons, suggests a real conflict. Was it the Trojan War? The truth is complex. A real city fell, but the epic details, gods, heroes, the horse, are likely legend. The story blends fact and fiction. A real war, mythologized over centuries. Troy's ruins remind us that legends often have roots in reality. The search for Troy turned myth into history. The Trojan War endures because it explores timeless human themes: love, honor, betrayal, and the cost of pride. Its characters are complex. Achilles, driven by rage; Hector, by duty; Helen, by beauty and fate. Their struggles feel real, their flaws relatable. The story warns of how passion and pride can destroy even the greatest cities. Troy's fall is a symbol of loss, reminding us that war leaves no true winners. The Greeks won, but at immense cost. Many never returned home. The legend holds a mirror to human nature, asking what we value and what we're willing to sacrifice. Whether history or myth, the Trojan War shapes our understanding of heroism and tragedy. Its lessons are as relevant now as ever. The story continues to inspire and caution us. To explore more legends that shaped our world, subscribe for future stories. We'll keep digging into the myths and histories that connect past and present. The tale of Troy is far from over.